All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Amelia Village Council meeting on January the 3rd, 2011. Call the meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. and ask for a roll call, please.
Derek. Here. Todd. Here. Renee.
Here.
Tim. Here. Bob. Here. Chuck. Here. Leroy.
Present. Let's all stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome once again to the January 3rd, 2011 edition of the Amelia Village Council meetings. I'd like to thank those who are here in the audience tonight and those who may be watching at home or are viewing this via DVD. I want to reference once again that DVDs can be checked out from the Amelia Village or the Amelia Library. Additionally, meetings are being hosted on the village website, so they can be seen online as well as being sent to Claremont County Communications or airing on Claremont County Public Access. So with that all said, we'll get the meeting underway this evening. Let the record show the council has received their packets in advance of tonight's meeting. We have and has had an opportunity to review the material enclosed. We have two sets of meeting minutes to approve this evening. The first is for a public hearing that was hosted here December 20th, 2010. The public hearing was on the topic of the rezoning of the Morse House property. At this time, I would ask for a motion from the council regarding the minutes on December 20, 2010, public hearing.
I'll make the motion if nobody else is going to.
I'll go first. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? For those watching at home and on DVD and on the internet, I'll read the minutes. They're very brief. There were no guests available. Mayor Ellington gave opening comments. Mayor Ellington explained that the purpose of the public hearing was for the discussion and or questions on the rezoning of the Morse House property. There were no questions, as there was no public in attendance. Since the regular meeting was scheduled for 7 p.m., the meeting was kept open just in case someone came in. Meeting adjourned at 6:53 p.m. Also, let the record show that the appropriate ads were placed in the newspaper and regarding this public meeting, as well as notification on the village website. Next set of minutes for tonight is for the regular council meeting held on December 20, 2010. At this time, I entertain a motion from council.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Discussion and or questions? Roll call, please.
Derek.
Yay.
Todd.
Yay.
Renee.
Yay.
Tim.
Yay.
Bob.
Yay.
Chuck.
Yay.
Minutes for December 20, 2010 are approved. Next item on the agenda for this evening is the mayor's report. Shouldn't be a very lengthy report tonight. What I have is presented January 3rd, 2011. Let me make myself a note. Something to add to this. All right. Under the heading of meetings, I've been involved in several meetings and have had correspondence with many on behalf of Amelia Village since the last meeting, including, but not limited to, the following: Police Chief Suker, representatives from Union Township Fire Department, Fiscal Officer Bill Gilpin, Village Solicitor Laura Abrams, Pat Madel from CDS, Vice Mayor Tim Rosser, village staff, and police personnel, as well as village residents. Under the heading of zoning, we continue to struggle to stay on top of zoning issues with the village, within the village. With the current staffing levels and workload, is all we can do to keep up with the responding to the residents' complaints and or questions. We're basically putting out fires, and there's no opportunity to engage in proactive enforcement. Under the heading of lighting district, at the December 20 meeting, there was discussion about creating lighting districts as a way of easing the burden on the general fund. This discussion was generalized in nature, and no conclusion was made. Laura created a confidential memo containing the relevant sections of the RSC for council to review this topic. The memo is in your council packets this evening. Additionally, under the heading of Chief Super's request, Chief Super issued a memo to me on December 28th requesting the village employ a part-time property room custodian. Because 2011 permanent appropriations are still not finalized, I made copies of the Chief's memo available to council members and would like to ask the Finance Committee to review the memo and add it to their list of considerations for final appropriations. Under the heading of FYI, or food for thought, question, will the local government fund take a hit in 2011 or in the future? Senator Tom Niehaus gave the following quote in an interview in the Cincinnati Enquirer on Sunday, January the 2nd, 2011. I just want to make sure that Council and Finance Committee bear this in mind while planning for Amelia's future. The quote states, I think they will be shocked, Niehaus said of members of the public who might realize how much state budget cuts will affect their cities, townships, schools, libraries, health, and social service organizations. Raising taxes isn't an option amid the economic downturn, so services to the public will have to be reduced to achieve balanced 2-year operating budget by June 30th as required by state law. I don't think there is anything that is untouchable given the magnitude of the deficit that we face, Niehaus said. The recession has cut into state revenues, and we just spent too much money. All programs that get state funding should be reevaluated to determine whether they can operate on less or even be eliminated. Those were quotes from Senator Tom Niehaus, who's now the president of the Ohio State House and Senate. And that was just offered council members as food for thought. I'm not sure how that correlates exactly to the general fund, but he's been on record a number of times in speaking with regard to that. Julie just put on everyone's desk something that I failed to include in my report, is the rescheduling of council meetings in 2011 that fall on holidays. In that list, you can cross off the May 30th date. That's inaccurate. But the other dates, January 17, the Martin Luther King Jr. Day, February 21st, the President's Day, July 4th, Independence Day, and September 5th, Labor Day, all those meetings will be scheduled for the day after the holiday, for the Tuesday. And Julie, would you do me a favor? Would you, what's that?
If you're going to do those, you might want to actually do them by motion. So.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
And I'll make it.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Derek?
Yay.
Todd?
Yay.
Renee?
Yay.
Tim?
Yay.
Bob?
Okay.
Chuck?
Yeah.
Thank you. Motion is approved. Julie, would you do me a favor and just create a document with all the dates of the actual meetings? Make sure all council members and appropriate parties know, as well as the schedule being placed on the website. Oh, I'm going to skip past this committee appointment section and move to the rules of council. In the desk tonight are copies of the 2010 rules of council and the 2011 proposed rules of council. Please review both and have any suggestions ready for the next meeting.
Mayor, could I jump in on that briefly?
Please do.
On the 2011 rules of council, really I just did this to get the ball rolling on just getting everybody to think about it. Mainly what I did was changed some formatting issues. There were a couple of typos, some references that weren't correct in the prior version. And the only substantive change I made, you'll see, is on the emergency motions, where we still have the language about how once an emergency motion is made, there'll be no debate on the issue. My thought is, if you're not, we have not in the past year done that. So if you want to eliminate that altogether, perhaps we should do that, because when we do discuss emergency motions, we are technically violating our own rules of council. So if we're going to, if we think that's a bad idea, I would suggest we take that out, and that's on page 9 of the rules. What I did was I just put that in italics, so you might think about that. But from my standpoint, I was just putting it in a better format, so we're going to have a separate document as opposed to it just being in the ordinance. Have it formatted a little easier to read, and then whatever other changes people want to make, we'll make to that. I'm not proposing we keep it as is. I just wanted to get the ball rolling on the discussion. We really should try to do that in the next meeting if we can.
Thank you, Laura.
Thanks.
Last item I have on my report is maybe somewhat lengthy. It is that time of year again, time to reappoint the vice mayor, council liaisons to commissions, etc. Before we do proceed, I'd like to ask Laura for an overview on the legalities of such appointments, and regarding the vice mayor, finance committee, planning commission, recreation committee, and just any general knowledge for not just for council, but for those people who are watching at home. Laura?
I'll start with vice mayor, and you all know this, so this is just a refresher. The vice mayor is elected by the council at large every year. Our rules of council state that the vice mayor will be elected at this meeting, so we'll need to have nominations and have a vote for that. As far as the duties of the vice mayor is basically the person who acts in the absence of the mayor. Absence is a significant absence. It's not just if the mayor is downtown for the day. Can't be reached is basically the understanding of when the vice mayor acts in the absence of the mayor. Generally in Amelia there's been cooperation between the mayor and the vice mayor just to make sure that in the event of an absence that the vice mayor can carry out the duties of the mayor. Obviously being a small village, the mayor has more administrative roles than in larger municipalities, so it's important that they communicate. So that will need to be done this evening. Again, that's a nomination process and a vote. As far as the committees and commission appointments, that's according to our rules of council and general statutes, that's done by the mayor. He announces the appointments. The composition of those committees and commissions is in our rules of council. The special committees have 6 members, 3 of whom must be council members, and the mayor establishes that. Once the committees or commissions are established, then the committees establish their own chairperson, with the exception of the planning commission and the recreation commission. The mayor appoints the council liaison to recreation. As far as planning commission goes, I believe we have. Are you?
I was just going to talk about that.
Yeah, the planning commission, the person appointed as the council liaison to the planning commission stays during their term on council. So as you're still here and you're appointed, there will be no change to the liaison to planning commission. But as far as special committees, those are made yearly. The finance committee, which we recreated last year,